Hi, my name is AHanus, and I'm here today to try to explain to you why we need stricter laws for animal abuse. Did you know that most serial killers start out abusing animals? Let me give you a little bit of background about myself first. I've worked in the prison system. I was a correctional officer in maximum security, and I did notice that in many of my inmates' background, animal abuse had been part of it. And I worked maximum security, so I worked with murderers and rapists and child molesters and stuff like that, okay? So I'm gonna go over the three main things that I wanna bring attention to, which is the types of abuse, the mental health, because mental health plays a big role in this, and stricter laws and possible solutions, okay? Now, these are the types of abuse that are out there. The humanesociety.org is a really good place to go to find out this information, okay? You have things such as violence, okay? Violence is stabbing, cutting, beating, or any physical abuse that's done to an animal, okay? Then you have one a lot of people don't think about, which is negligence, which is something like not feeding or not providing shelter or taking them to the vet when they're sick or getting them their vaccinations that they need. Lack of love and attention, leaving them outside in the heat or the cold. Did you know that in Dallas, Texas, is now recently a law that is against the law to chain up your dog without you being present, okay? Then there's legal hunting, dog fighting, cockfighting, which is fighting dogs for sport or money, or hunting without a license, or killing animals that are not allowed to be killed, that are not in season. There's some counties where you can't kill a doe, but you can kill a buck. Okay, and that's important because we have to keep them around. We don't need to abuse them for no reason. Okay, and then cockfighting is very sad because they tie razors to their legs and they fight with them. And the chickens die and they throw them to the side and they collect their money and they leave. Okay, that's not good. That's not okay. But let's bring this to mental health because mental health plays a huge role in animal abuse. There's some good information that you can look up on this. It's called Bridging the Gap, Connection Between Violence Against Animals and Violence Against People. And it's by Rebecca Bucare. Okay? For example, you have your killers. Many serial killers start out with hurting an animal. For example, 35 women fell victim to one of the biggest serial killers of our time, Carol Edward Cole. It was known that he had strangled and killed a puppy earlier on before he moved on to humans. A lot of our mass shooters have the same pattern. The Columbine shooters had also hurt animals before and videos were made. And then we go to some really sad things besides killers, which I know is sad. But then we come to rapists and child molesters. Most people that hurt animals do it because they're helpless and they cannot talk back, as in the case of children, which is where a lot of the molestation comes from. Rapists, they tend to attack animals to cover up, to overcome them, because they are smaller than them and they put up a little fight. And a lot of people don't realize the third one, which is a very big one out there, and it's called hoarding. It victimizes the animals and it imposes severe neglect on them. And this is due to housing more than one person can take on. They bring a cat in off the street because it was in the cold and it's pregnant, and they bring it in and it has babies, and then they try to get rid of those babies, but they can't, and they don't want to take it to the pound or put it back on the street, so the cycle continues. So that brings me to stricter laws and possible solutions. Another helpful place to go for information on this is Regulating Animal Abuse. It's by Stephen McCullen, or you can go to animalpeopleforum.org. Do you know that most states only slap you on the wrist for it? For example, states like Kentucky, they don't even require you to surrender your animal after you have been found guilty of animal abuse. That's not even logical. That doesn't make sense. That's not okay. But that's Kentucky's laws. And they are one of the worst places to live if you were an animal. Okay? But the one thing, I don't want to say that's good that comes out of this, but it's helpful, is the FBI. They are now tracking all animal abuse, and they are tracking them at the same level that they're tracking people who commit sex crimes. Okay? And this is really going to help with them when it comes to, serial killers that are out there, or, mass shootings, or, a lot of things. They'll have the information in their sites. I think something that would probably help is like an abuse hotline. Many people don't know where to report abuse to, or they're afraid that this would even help. Like, for example, Kentucky prohibits the vet from saying, hey, this animal's been abused. We don't do that with our human children. We don't say, oh, I'm sorry, your child's been abused, but we're not going to report it, because we don't see them as the same thing. Which is sad, because all 50 states now have felony provisions in place when it comes to animal abuse, but most of them don't take place to the third offense. Come on, if you and I both know if somebody's hurt an animal 3 times, the next person is going to be a human, and it's going to be too late. Or the second one, the third person they hurt is going to be human, then it's going to be too late. So I hope you really understand the things that I've tried to express today. Again, the 3 main points that we need to look over is, again, the types of abuse that are out there, the mental health issues and what lies beneath them, and the stricter laws and maybe possible solutions that are out there. Animals can't speak for themselves or stand up for themselves. So who's going to stand up for them? Will you? Will you stand up and will you help them? Remember, that helpless bird that you see that fell out of the nest in the tree that's on the floor is the same thing as that dog next door who's crying because it's 30 below outside and they're stuck outside. Or they've been out there without food or water, or they have nothing. So please stand up for them. Please help them. And I appreciate your time, and thank you so much.